Hello everyone, I've got a charming little game for you today between Joseph Henry Blackburne versus Jacques Schwarz, and this game was played in Berlin 1881. And the reason why this game is so interesting is because Blackburne attacks in the same style as AlphaZero. So Blackburne in this game has the two bishops and actually tries to open files on the G and H file. Obviously not as accurate as AlphaZero, but still it has a similar historical parallel to this previous AlphaZero game that I showed yesterday. So Blackburne is white, Schwarz is black, and we'll just have a look at White's play in this game. So E4 is played, E6, D4, D5, and we're into a French. White plays knight C3, black plays knight to F6, and we get into an exchange on D5 with E takes D5 and now E takes D5. White plays knight to F3, just developing really quickly. Black plays bishop to D6 and white plays bishop to D3. Both players are preparing to castle. Black plays C6, supporting the D5 square and leaving space for the queen to move to C7. Castles for white and now castles for black. And interestingly here, Blackburne now plays knight to E2. And apparently this is a typical move he used to play a lot. Moving this knight to G3 and maybe trying to infiltrate on F5. And perhaps entice black to capture twice on G3 maybe. But in the game, black plays bishop to G4 and Blackburne now plays knight to G3. So at the moment this knight to F3 is pinned by this bishop on G4, and black now plays queen C7 ganging up on this G3 knight as well. So it looks as though black's got a quite decent game here. I did wonder what would happen if white now plays H3. I think black should go with a safe option, just maneuver the bishop back to E6, and white can play knight to H4. But if black now starts capturing pawns with bishop takes G3 and F takes G3 and queen takes G3, they're in for a bit of a shock because white can now play rook takes F6. And if G takes F6 here, then we'll just come queen H5, threatening mate on H7 and protecting knight at the same time. If F5 to block, knight takes F5 can be played, bishop takes, and queen G7. White can now actually play bishop to H6. And after queen takes D4 and king H1, the smoke's cleared. And white's actually come out on top here and has a very nice attack against black's king. So actually after H3, bishop E6 was a safe option, but black shouldn't capture twice on G3. If black actually captures on F3 instead, then queen takes F3, knight BD7, knight to F5. I feel like white's doing slightly better. After rook E8, knight captures, queen captures and C3. It's still a very even game, but white now has the two bishops, and I feel like this is an advantage for white. So H3 in this position could have been a decent move. Instead, Blackburne developed and played bishop to E3, which is still a logical move. Black played knight BD7 and queen D2. A very interesting move, moving the queen off the diagonal for the bishop on G4 and actually enticing black to take on F3 and open this G file up. So if bishop takes F3 here, G takes F3, white's plan is quite simple, just to play knight to F5 followed by king H1 and rook G1. I guess play could continue with king H8, which seems to be a standard move for black. And if king H1, rook F E8, and maybe knight to F5 here. And if G6 to kick the knight away, knight takes D6, queen takes D6, bishop to F4. I feel like white's doing okay, even though he's got the double pawns. If queen E6, rook E1, queen H3 and bishop G3. Again, white has the two bishops. The pawn on F3 is quite weak, but these black squares around the black king are really susceptible to an attack. So I would actually probably prefer to play white in this position, being totally honest with you. I think black was smart not to take this F3 knight though. He just played rook F8, developing another piece. And Blackburne played rook A E1. And now knight to E4 from black. But Blackburne still wants black to take on F3, and now plays queen to C1. Finally, black accepts, plays bishop takes F3, G takes F3, and of course knight takes G3 and H takes G3. And here, black can now afford to sacrifice with bishop takes G3. where black has now just won a pawn and doubled the f-pawns. Of course, if white now captures on g3, f takes, then queen takes g3 is really dangerous for white. King h1 and queen h3 check, king g1 and now knight to e5, threatened to play knight takes f3 check. And if white takes this knight off, queen g3 check, king h1, now rook takes e5, threatening mate on h5. Bishop g5 is the only way to block, and after rook takes g5, white is actually forced to give up their own queen. With queen takes rook, queen takes queen, and f4. And here there's no question that black is doing a lot better than white in this position. So white can't afford to take this bishop, so Blackburne now plays king to g2, attacking the bishop, and the bishop retreats to d6. And of course Blackburne gets on with the attack now. Rook h1 on this open file, attacking h7. But Schwarz has a nice move, knight to f8, defending h7 and not moving any of the pawns yet and preventing any weaknesses. Rook h3 from Blackburne, but now g6 to blunt the bishop on d3. And of course Blackburne continues the attack with rook h1. h5 was actually a move suggested by Stockfish in this position, and it can get a bit complicated after queen g1. Black's got to be really careful with defending here. If knight to e6, king f1 and now rook takes h5 is on the cards. If king f8, white can afford to play bishop takes g6. And if captures, queen f7, we'll get into this weird endgame. So queen takes h5, queen takes h5, rook takes. After king e7, rook h7, king d8. Stockfish actually suggests f4 for white here, and if captures twice, rook takes b7, a5 and rook h7, and knight to e6 to cover this c7 square, so black can't get checkmated, and b3 from white. So here, the computer actually gives black as slightly better. Black's actually a piece up, but white's also got 2 pawns for the piece, and in a very nice position with these 2 rooks. So I think this could actually end in a draw. But if black can ever get out of their horrible position, they've got a good chances with this extra knight. So of course in this position, black's got to be very careful when defending. So rook a d8 is played by Schwarz, and now bishop g5 attacking the rook, and the rook moves to d7. So black is actually in a fine position here. The defences are all there, the knight to f8 is protecting a lot of things, and the queen and rook do a good job on the 7th rank. So Blackburne now tries to open more files with c4. Schwarz captures on c4 and now bishop takes c4, opening up this diagonal for the bishop against the black king. And here is where Schwarz actually started to go wrong. b5 was actually a really strong move that black could have played here, attacking the bishop. If the bishop drops back, black could play c5, preparing c4. So white's pretty much forced to take this off, and after bishop takes c5, black now has their own open files for the 2 rooks, and has excellent counterplay with rook to d2, attacking this f2 pawn. So maybe b5 in this position was good for black. Instead this is where Schwarz played a bad move, he played h5 in this position. And Blackburne actually missed a really simple idea. Here white can actually play rook takes h5. And if g takes h5, just play bishop to f6. And now queen h6 is threatened with mate on g7, and the only way for black to defend this is to play bishop to f4, but now white can just simply play rook takes h5 with mate on h8. If knight g6 to defend, queen h1, and again rook h8 is unstoppable and black can actually resign this. Rook e6 in this position is also an option, but after queen g5 check, knight g6, bishop captures the rook, f takes and queen captures, white's in a tremendously great attacking position. Rook g7 is pretty much forced because king f8 in this position will just lead to rook takes h5 with devastating consequences. So rook g7, queen takes, bishop takes, king takes. After rook takes h5, white's in a one endgame. So definitely white missed a trick after h5 here. Rook takes h5 would have actually won the game really quickly. Instead Blackburne played rook h4 here, And now Schwarz decided to play b5, attacking this bishop. And again, rook takes h5 actually works here still, because g takes and bishop f6 again. So again, white missed the win after b5 here as well. Instead, Blackburne played bishop to b3, dropping the bishop back. And in this position the game is actually equal, so both sides have good chances. Black plays knight to e6, attacking the bishop, and bishop f6 from Blackburne, so trying to infiltrate on h6, maybe with the queen. And Black's got to be careful with this knight, which is the only defender of g7. I actually think Black was a bit blasé about the next move they played. Bishop e7 should have been played, and it's your only refutation to White's attack. And if bishop to e5, just bishop to d6, and Black's just going to have to repeat moves and get this bishop off. It's too powerful. The black squares around the king are just too weak, so Black needs to take care of that bishop first. Instead, Schwarz actually played knight to f4 check here. And I'll just give you 5 seconds. I wonder if you can find the winning move here, because White played a tremendously good move. So here White actually played a queen sacrifice with queen takes f4, and after the bishop recaptures, White can actually play rook takes h5 now, threatening rook h8 mate. And here Black actually resigned the game because there's no way to stop rook h8 mate. If g takes h5, then just rook takes h5, and still Black can't stop rook h8 mate. And for this reason Black resigned. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you this game because it does have strong parallels between AlphaZero's play, where AlphaZero sacrifices the g and h pawn, and in this game White has done exactly the same. But I hope you enjoyed this game. Please drop a like and subscribe if you did enjoy it, and catch up with more chess videos on my channel very soon. I hopefully will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.